advantage in head-to-head encounters, and only last year at the European Championships beat the Spaniards by a single point. But heading into this quarterfinal, the Croatians have been hit by injuries. Let's join Andrew Gaze and Chris Dittmar in the first, with the Spaniards leading 6-1.
Just under 7 minutes remain in the first quarter at Wukasong Stadium. First knockout quarter-final. Spain lead at 6-1. Low-scoring start. Interesting recent history for the Spaniards. They are the reigning world champions, but did not qualify. In fact, if we go back to their last campaign, they came 7th in Athens, 9th in Sydney. But to be the current world champions suggests that in recent years, Andrew Gaze, they're very much up and down for such a talented lineup.
They are, and this Spanish team, they had some controversy early in the year. They won the gold medal in the, won the silver medal in the qualification series in Europe. As we see Garabosa missing from the perimeter, and Ricky Rubio, what a pass to Pau Gasol. But Spain, their coach that took them to that second place in that great standing, Pepe Hernandez, he was fired in May. So huge changes the Spanish team have had to make.
Timeout called by Croatia. Spain lead 8-1.
And that's a big impact. When you change a coach who's been with the team for quite some time, so late to a major event. And I've been very critical somewhat of the rotations of Spain. As I mentioned, they've used different starters in every single game they've played. And let's face it, Pau Gasol, he didn't even start in one game. The first game of the tournament didn't start him, and he's their centerpiece of the Spanish outfit. He's been sensational throughout the tournament. Second leading scorer behind Manu Ginobili, averaging 19.4 points a game, and he plays 27 minutes a game.
And let's look at it from a Croatian point of view as well. They've played some very good basketball here at Wukasong Stadium. Starting with their very first game, they beat Australia.
That's right, and they shot the ball well. But as I mentioned, with the loss of Popovic, their starting point guard, or a point guard of significance for Croatia, and also Planinic, who didn't play the last game, but Planinic has just checked into the game. He's one of the premier shooters in the competition. He's 8 of 12 from the three-point line, and he's a class player.
So we restart play after the timeout. Spain 8 plays Croatia 1. Croatia struggling to get on the score sheet at the moment. And we've seen an example of their play so far. Thomas just losing a handle on the ball totally. Rubio all the way. No foul given away. Croatia now an opportunity. Planinic. Foul called on Jimenez, the captain of Spain.
Take a look at the replay. We see Planinic going along the baseline, and the slightest of nudges called the foul. But Planinic, he's going to have a big game for Croatia to have a chance, in my opinion. They need to find a way to put some points on the board, and they've been getting it done from the perimeter by and large, Croatia.
Planinic now. Shot blocked. Gasol was in the way. Thomas.
Great position.
Offensive foul. And still Croatia cannot increase their 1 point. That's all they've scored in this game so far.
That's excellent help defense by Garabosa. Stepping into the lane, great position, and forcing the offensive foul.
So an amazing defensive start from the Spaniards, keeping Croatia to 1 point. Almost the halfway mark of this first quarter. Gasol prominent in this game so far. The 7 points now, and it's 10-1.
Croatia have only had the 3 field goal attempts. It's been turnovers that are killing them. 5 turnovers, 0 of 3 from the field. And as I mentioned, they need to find a way to put some points on the board.
Ukic, he tried and couldn't score. Hold Gasol away now. Fernandez. for the Spaniards. Banic to Jukic. Travel call.
Little shuffle of the feet, change of direction by Ukic. And in times like this, and you're really struggling to get your offense going, I think Ukic had the right idea there. Just try and up the tempo, pick up a cheapie in the transition, get things going, get the scoreboard ticking, and you build from that.
Calderon comes on to replace Ricky Rubio, the 17-year-old. Oh my! For Gasol to 9 points now. Big drama here for Croatia in this first quarter. Spain 12, Croatia 1. Croatia finished third in Group A in the competition here. 3 wins, 2 losses. They beat Australia, Russia and Iran. And had losses to Lithuania by 13, Argentina by 24.
And after the first 2 games of the tournament, Croatia, they looked extremely impressive, and injuries have really slowed them down. But have a look at the pass and the great grab by Gasol.
At the line now, Planinic. And they double their score to 2. So some work to do for Croatia. Very early days in this quarterfinal though. Knockout quarterfinals they are. The winner goes through to the last 4 to compete for medals. And it's all over for the loser. Fernandez. Gavioza back to Fernandez. Gasol, the lead scorer at the moment, and doesn't add this time round. Planinic.
Wow. Whacked by Rudy Fernandez. Calderon is another superstar from the Toronto Raptors, who really interesting the way the coach of the Spanish team's been using him throughout this tournament. Quite extraordinary, almost mind-boggling when you have a superstar like that.
He's into the action now, trying to hold up Kush. And coming through, nice layup, Banic. Croatia just slowly working their way into this first quarter. After such a slow start, Spain make a couple of changes now. Marc Gasol to come on. Going off is Fernandez, also Paul Gasol, the chief scorer, he goes off. And Rudez is on number 12 for Spain.
Getting back to Calderon. He's only playing just over half a game at 20 minutes. And only averaging 34% from the field.
Gavioza with the shot. Rodriguez. Calderon just slows things down. 3 minutes remain in the first quarter. Mumbrú, new player on for Spain. Uses Calderon. Can't get through, now he does. Reaches up over the defense of Perkacin. And Calderon now to 3 points. Spain 15, Croatia 4. This is Thomas. Planinic. Foul called on 12 for Spain, Rodriguez.
This occasion, Rodriguez not getting across far enough. And clearly a foul, and Planinic, well, in this first quarter, this has been their best offense. Get to the free throw line and try and earn it from the charity stripe. Tremendous defense by Spain. And one of the advantages of Spain using so many players right throughout the tournament, they've got 12 players on the roster, 11 of them average double-figure minutes. So the coach really giving everyone a fair go.
Planinic 3 from 4 for the line now. He's up to 3 points. All scored from foul. So 15 play, 6. Spain in the box seat in this opening quarter. Reigning world champions. Foul called on Planinic, number 10 for Croatia.
They are the reigning world champions and very unlucky to lose that final of the European Championship last year. Lost at the buzzer. J.R. Holden hitting a basket in the dying stages.
First score for Mumbrú. And he makes both. 17-6. Spain lead over Croatia. And good defense against Spain. Holding up the Croatians in the backcourt. Just beat the 8-second rule. Planinic. Push was wide. Calderon came in to close him down. Moved very quickly. Three-pointer Planinic from a long, long way out. 17-9. Croatia coming back late in this first quarter. Calderon. 2 points for Reyes, just inside the line he was. Spain by 10. Thomas misses from a long way out. Rebound to Marc Gasol. And the ball in for Reyes. Banic was good. Calderon. Rebound Planinic. Croatia away. Chance to bridge this gap before quarter time. Such a slow start for the Croatians, yet no real damage done yet. They're not a mile down, it's quite manageable. Spain haven't really hurt them at the other end, having defended so well. And another miss for Banic. Chance for Spain to add to their score late in this quarter. Mumbrú was nearly on the half-court line.
That's deep.
That is handy for Spain as we wind down to quarter time. 22-9 now.
Playing with a lot of confidence, Spain. Tempo really in their favour. And it's at this end they're getting the job done. Full credit to their offence, but what a defensive effort it's been by Spain.
Thomas did it well, used the clock. Handy 2 points as we go to the break at quarter time. Spain 22, Croatia 11. Croatia gets the second quarter underway here at Wukesong Stadium in Beijing. They trail Spain by 11. Knockout quarterfinal. The winner will go through to the last four to play for medals.
And it's this end where Croatia's really struggling. And again, they just get a shot off. This time, Misevic nailing the two. But it's been like pulling teeth on the offensive end. They've just got no spark. Full credit to Spain defence, but I think it's really exposing the loss of Popovic for Spain. Their point guard, who was averaging 10 points a game, and he's providing a real spark for their team. It's just not there.
Gasol was the lead scorer in the first quarter. He dished off to Reyes, who drew the foul. With 5 minutes played in that first quarter, Croatia had 1 point on the scoreboard, yet you wouldn't say it's really hurt them as much as it could have.
No, it's not, and that's primarily because the way Croatia is playing. In that timeout, I think they really need to assess their strategy. By the look of things, they've come out and they've wanted to take the wind out of the ball. They wanted to keep it into a half-court game, execute, make it a half-court game and really slow the game down. But their lack of scoring and the ability to hit shots in the dying seconds of the shot clock has really hurt them. So they may need to look at a few more transition options, get out and run a little bit. Now, that's probably more in the favour, you would think, of Spain, but right now, Croatia are going to die a death of 1,000 cuts.
Well, once again, we see the defence of Spain.
And turnovers. Turnovers is destroying them. They're now up to 7 turnovers for the game. So, might have sounded good in theory and a good strategy to take the wind out of the ball, but so far not paying off for them.
I think we can pay some respect to the defensive work of Spain. Again, we saw it just there in that last play. This time a turnover for the Spaniards. So Croatia away, Kush. He's wide open. Doesn't score.
And in the absence of Popovic, it's Kus that has really been given the responsibility, and this time he'll go to the line to shoot too. But Kus, he struggled from the field. He's only at 33%. He's got 5 points per game and playing 24 minutes a game. Hasn't really stepped up, and Kus is going to the line to shoot 3 because he attempted that field goal attempt behind the 3-point arc and was fouled in the act of shooting. Far in a little over a quarter, they've only had 10 field goal attempts.
Kush, who plays for Malaga in Spain, very accurate with the first 2. Can he make it 3 from 3? He can. Good effort. 22 plays 16 now. Good effort for Croatia to drag themselves back into this contest, only trail by 6. Gasol to counter on. Now they trail by 9. Just like that. Counter on with 6 points. Lonchar. Pretty quiet so far.
This is outstanding defense. That was just outstanding defense by Spain. Did a good job preventing the penetration on any of the passes that help in recovery. Brilliant stuff.
Reyes. Jump shot for 2. Now the margin 11. Just like that. A moment ago it was 6.
It was a big 6, if there is such a thing. Although they're only 6 down, they still haven't found their way in this game.
Nice work, Thomas. A 21-year-old for Croatia. Star in the making for them. Throughout the year, played against the Australians, played in qualifying and really led their scoring all the way.
And Kus just not quite getting over quick enough. You saw his body and the movement. Not getting there, he's called for the foul. And let's not forget, the last time Croatia were in Olympic competition, it was in this round in 1996 in the Atlanta Olympic Games that the Australian Boomers advanced to the quarterfinals with a win over Croatia with the big shot by Tony Ronaldson, a 4-point play at the end of the game.
Kush. And another miss for the Croatians. So they're 5 from 12 now. 42% from the floor. Reyes. I don't know if that was a shot or if he was looking for Gasol, but it's missed everything. Croatia away. Croatia's moment in the Olympic Games was in '92 when they went down to the Dream Team in the final and took the silver medal. No disgrace in losing to them.
Star-studded lineup that was with Tony Kukoc, Drazen Petrovic, some of the greats of the game.
And up against Jordan Barclay, Larry Bird and co. Pretty hard to beat. So Spain 27 lead Croatia 18. Just inside 6.5 minutes remain in this first half. And some changes coming up. Lonchar's gone. Very quiet start for Lonchar. He's been a real good player in this tournament so far. The captain Perkicin comes back on with Nisevic. And Garbiosa checks back in for Spain with the little fella Ricky Rubio.
You're dead right. Lonchar has been good. Not necessarily a high point scorer, but a real presence inside. And tonight, for whatever reason, they're not going to him a lot. He came on, only played the 3.5 minutes so far. And it's almost like Croatia has decided to go a little bit smaller with the captain, Perkicin, big bull of a man down low.
Well, he leads their rebounds as we see the steal here from Fernandez into Jimenez.
Oh! Paul Gasol with the sweetest of follow-ups. The follow-up tip dunk.
Well, 3 players had a go at that. He was third in line.
And he's just the biggest and most determined to get it done. You saw the hands in there of Nisevic. Didn't quite go up as high as Paul Gasol.
He's up to 11 points, Gasol. Chance to add another one, and he does. 12 for Paul Gasol. Having a big quarterfinal for Spain. They lead at 30-18. Jukic. Perkicin. Interesting thing about Croatia, they've had a different lead scorer in every game they've played. Jukic. Jimenez, big rebound. Spain doing everything right at the moment. Good on the attack and very good defensively too. Their defense has been a real feature so far. Rubio to Gasol. Long way for him to get it and drag it into the basket. The idea was good.
That was not a great pass, and Paul Gasol was just tremendous. Went up high, snatched it in. Turnover still by Spain.
Timeout called by Croatia. They trail 18-30.
And Croatia, without being spectacular, in fact, pretty ordinary, as you mentioned, Chris, just doing enough to hang in there, only trail it by the 12. And their shooting has been terrible. They're 5 of 15, 33%, and only 1 of 4 from the three-point line at 25%. And the thing that's really hurt them the most is those turnovers. They've got the 8. Spain, in contrast, they're shooting it well at 48% from the field and only have the 4 turnovers. So, although it's only a 12-point deficit, when that man, Paul Gasol, gets going, which he is in this game, already has the 12 points and 4 rebounds, Spain are going to be tough to stop.
He's their lead scorer. He leads their rebounds. He's had a couple of spectacular games. 29 points against China, and that's up against Yao Ming and co. So fair day out there. And he had 31 against Angola. One of the weaker sides in the competition, but still a great contribution from him. Easy to have a bit of a day off, isn't it, for some of the stars in the comp, but he went out and shot 31.
Well, Spain had a day off against USA, let's be honest. They got poleaxed in that one, 82-119.
If they get another chance, another crack at the US of A, they might just play a different style, and I think we're seeing some of it here. Very tight in defense. They're not letting anything through. Jimenez with the easy rebound to Rubio, the 17-year-old. Ooh, was meant for Gasol. Just off target.
By Fernandez.
Oh, 2 in a row. He's let him down, hasn't he? So 5 minutes remain in the first half.
There's no doubting the intent of Spain. They're going to the big fella, and why wouldn't you go to that well until it dries up? And we've seen no signs of the Gasol well drying up at all.
Gasol screaming in the ear of Perkicin. Might have been lost on Perkicin if he was talking Spanish, but he was absolutely screaming, barking at him. And in the end he missed. Rubio, Garbiosa, Gasol, 14 points. Dominant player on the court. 32 plays 18, margin 14. Croatia need to stem the tide right now. Perkicin. Gasol has given away the foul.
Perkicin, not sure the pronunciation, but whatever he does, that's his bread and butter down low. He backs it in. He's a big bulk of a man. He gets his centre of gravity real low. And Paul Gasol checks out of the game. He's already got the 2 personal fouls. But when Gasol's in there, it sort of nullifies that backing down type tactic, because even when he gets close to the basket, the big fella's there to swat it away.
First point of the game for Perkicin, the captain, who's been in this side since 1997, a real servant of Croatian basketball. He comes away with the solitary point. Ricky Rubio. Fernandez. Foul given away by Rosic.
Rosic just moving forward a little bit. Fernandez, I guess, knowing that Spain or Croatia are in the penalty, he yells and carries on and draws the foul.
Second in scoring behind Paul Gasol is Fernandez, coming in at 12 points per game.
And he's a superstar, an incredible athlete. He'll be with the Portland Trailblazers next season. They've gone out of their way to try and get him. And he looks like an NBA talent because of the athleticism. He shoots the ball well.
He's been a little off so far in this game with his passing. He's let Gasol down a couple of times, but has signed a long-term deal with Portland. Misevic, Planinic. Perkic, and that was good movement, Croatia. Their best player of the game so far.
Most definitely. Great teamwork, getting it through some sets of hands down low. Passes in traffic, finding the target.
Rubio, Garbiosa, Marc Gasol. Oh, took it a little easy. Just tried to caress the ball in.
Marc Gasol, he presents a completely different target down low than what his brother Paul does. Not as athletic, not as big, not as tall. He may actually be a little bigger. And this time Marc Gasol, I think he saw spooks, saw ghosts in there or something, and went up there as if Shaquille O'Neal was under the basket when all he had to do was drop it in.
Well, his brother's got 2 centimetres on him. 2'15" Paul and 2'13" Mark. Banic.
Offensive foul. Good call on that one. That was Banic going to the basket, just pushing off the defense with the left hand.
Inside 3 minutes remain in the half. Rubio, Spanish coach, placing a lot of faith in him. Included him in the starting 5 for this quarterfinal. Ran him in front of Calderon. Marc Gasol, one way then the other, and the 2 points. 35-21, Spain leads.
One, Carlos Navarro, just checking into the game. He's another one that's coming off an outstanding season with Memphis in the NBA. Seeing his first action.
Perkic could not get through the 2 big Spanish defenders. And Gasol comes away with the rebound. Rubio quickly on the break. Navarro wide open. No score. Croatia straight to Rubio. Under pressure.
Fundamental error by Croatia. When you're in underneath your own basket, you're taught from under 12s. If you don't know who you're throwing in, let it go out of bounds. You'd rather get your defense back and not gain possession than give a gimme like that.
Spain's lead out to 16. They narrow it by 2 now, the Croatians. Planinic with the tip in. 37-23. Six points, Planinic. Rubio becoming important in the last minute or 2. Jimenez wide open. Spanish captain with a miss. Opposite captain Perkic now to Rosic. And again, difficult to get through, but Jimenez gives away the foul.
Not only does he give away a foul, he gives away an unsportsman foul. So the referee deeming he had no intent other than preventing the shot. And on the replay, I think we have to agree with the officials.
Spot on.
So 2 shots and possession of the ball. So this is a big penalty and a real opening for Croatia with a little over a minute to go in the second quarter.
So it's Banic to the line.
Marko Banic, he's had a very respectable tournament.
And makes 1 from 2. He's up to 7 points now. He had a tournament high of 16 against Australia in their first match.
At 6'8", he's an undersized centre, but still has been averaging 8 points a game and almost 4 rebounds a game in half a game, averaging just over 20 minutes.
So Croatia keep possession after the unsportsmanlike foul. Jukic it is. Hasn't done a lot in this game so far. Rosic out wide. Rims out. Good rebound, Mumbru. To Ricky Rubio. And the live wire youngster lets it go this time. Good steal, Croatia. Handy on the break. Margin back to 11, and the Spaniards have called a timeout just to stem the tide. 28.3 seconds on the clock in the half. 37 plays 26.
Bit of a rookie error here by Ricky Rubio, trying to make something happen off the dribble. And with the turnover, Ukic comes down and makes the easy 2. And the lead's cut to 11. Spain really had control most of this half. It's going to take a real turnaround by Croatia in the second half if they're going to have a chance.
Well, if you look at the numbers, 8 from 23 from the field, Croatia, that's 35%. And it might suggest they're shooting poorly, but I just get the feeling every time they go to have a shot, there are Spaniards everywhere.
Well, that's right. And I think that for Croatia to have a chance without Popovic and the injury concerns to just a couple of their other players, in particular Planinic, they really need to shoot the ball well from the perimeter. And today, they're only 1 of 6 from the three-point line. So not only are they not hitting them, they're not getting a lot of opportunities from the perimeter. They've had 23 shots in total, only 6 of those coming from the three-point line. And they're not knocking those down when they get there. So perhaps a little bit of tweaking in as far as their structure is concerned at the halftime break. And they come out and trying to find a way to free themselves up offensively, and they could easily get back in this game.
Inside the final 30 seconds of the first half. Spain's ball. They lead by 11. Rubio came to Beijing probably expecting just the odd few minutes here and there, and now finds himself in a quarter-final in the starting 5. After such an amazing junior career, this young 17-year-old in the fray in senior action, and Spain have lost it here.
Double dribble on Marc Gasol.
Croatians make a change for this last play. Banic goes to the bench, Kush goes to the bench as well.
They bring in their three-point specialist, Planinic, and Spain, they understand how important this play is. They call a timeout to try and set up their defense.
Spain lead by 11. What's the play here?
Well, with the substitutions they've made, they've brought in Planinic, and he has been unbelievable from the three-point line right throughout the tournament. He's averaging 67% from beyond the arc, so
he's the go-to man.
I would expect that they'd be looking to him to get a three-point scoring opportunity, but he also does a good job of penetrating the ball. At 6'6", he's a very big point guard and got good ball handling skills. So either the shot or the penetration from Planinic would be the call. You don't have a lot of time to set too much up. 1, possibly 2 passes, penetrate and shot with only 5.4 seconds remaining.
Wonderful crowd in. You can see many Spanish supporters. They've been making a fair bit of noise as well on this men's quarterfinals day. Do or die they are. For the loser, it's all over for Beijing 2008. As the huddles break, Spain 37, Croatia 26. Just over 5 seconds remain till half-time. A final play coming up from Croatia. And it'll be up to their captain, Perkicin. He has the responsibility to bring the ball in. Planinic makes a move. Thomas. Jukic. And Kuss is the man. He gets it up. And again, the defending of Spain, too good. Half-time, Wukasong Stadium. And Spain lead Croatia by 11. Second half about to get underway. Spain lead Croatia by 11. It was such an interesting start. 5 minutes gone in the first quarter. Croatia had just the 1 point on the scoreboard, and it's just been such an enormous defensive effort by the Spaniards. It really has.
It has, and also the offense of Spain has been fantastic. Pau Gasol, he just provides such a target for him. He's 6 of 9 from the field. He's got the 14 points. He also has the 5 rebounds, but he is a massive presence for Spain, and in order for Croatia to have a chance, they need to somehow figure a way of curtailing the big fella in the middle.
They only trail by 11, Croatia, so no real damage done. Even though Spain appear to have dominated this game throughout the first half. Knockout quarterfinal. Rubio. Mumbro over the top. And Gasol. They're all having a go. Garbiosa finally. And Spain get the first 2 points of the third quarter.
Not a good sign for Croatia. Under the pump, trailing it by 11 at the half, and you come out the first possession, you give the opposition 3 cracks at it. They need to own the glass. Make sure no second shots for Spain.
Garbiosa, interception, and he's pretty pumped about it as well. They've fired up the Spaniards.
And again, very good rotation by Spain on the defensive end.
Spain finished second in Group B in this competition, 4 wins and a loss. The only loss coming to the USA, which is no disgrace, but it was fairly comfortable, 119-82. As Thomas threw up the big 3-point attempt. Long ball in, Thomas got back quickly, well done. And the mistake made by the Spaniards.
Ricky Rubio having a little blood rush there. He half a chance for the streaking Pau Gasol and went for it. And then we have a look at the turnovers, 10-8.
Yeah, just that loss of Spain's to the USA. There are those that believe that maybe they were just trying a few things, holding a bit in reserve, hoping to get the chance to play the USA again later on.
No doubt, I'm
you
one
subscribe
of them.
to that?
Absolutely. We take a look at the replay, and there's a very obvious foul by Thomas. I think you figure it that you're only going to beat. It's going to be tough to beat the USA anyway. You're only going to beat them once in the tournament.
Yep.
And Spain pretty much sewn up second spot in their group anyway, so not a lot to gain by getting the win over USA in the rounds. So save your one shot, the one bullet, for when it really counts in the medals. Sounds good in theory, but you got to get there, of course.
Ricky Rubio was absolutely desperate on that play, the 17-year-old Spaniard. But he just couldn't keep it in play, so cush it is now for Croatia. They use Thomas. Another youngster in this game, only 21 himself. Works hard to make space, but they don't use him. Perkichin. Thomas. Jukic. Has had no real influence on the game, Jukic.
One of the features of Croatia in their early wins over Australia was their penetrate, dish, and how they work the pick and roll. They're seeing none of that here tonight. And Fernandez drains a 3 to make Croatia's task even tougher.
All of a sudden, the score out to 42-26. Perkichin. Well held under the basket. Rubio, Fernandez. Spain on a quick break. Foul called on Kush, number 5 for Croatia.
Just so stagnant on the offensive end, Croatia, and I think that's what the Croatian coach sees as well.
Timeout called by Croatia, 7:41 left in the third, and Spain lead 42-26. Just not enough happening for Croatia.
No, it's not, and it's just the ball movement, as I was talking about before. Early on in the tournament, they're pick and roll, finding the open man, and again, Popovic was the catalyst to a lot of that, and his tournament is over with the Achilles injury. But Pau Gasol, he has been everywhere. The two-handed dunk on the alley-oop, some of the highlights of the first half, and there we see him again, just providing a target, which Croatia don't seem to have down their end of the floor, and points very hard to come by. They're down to 30% from the field, and only 11% from the three-point line, 1 of 9. And the man that's hit that one, Planinic, mind you, that was from the car park. He didn't start this second half, but you'd expect we'd see him soon. And just as I've said it, in he comes. Number 10, Planinic. Spent the last few years with the New Jersey Nets playing behind the great Jason Kidd. Didn't see a lot of action.
Paul Gasol, the lead scorer in the game with 14. And it's Banish that leads the way for Croatia with 7. Out to Rubio. Was in three-point territory. He was wide open. Now Mumbru is as well. Not this time. Planinic with the rebound. Gets rid of Rubio. And the foul called on Rubio. He didn't really mean to do a thing. He was just in the way.
No, he's trying to fight over the top of the screen, and he got tangled up, fell to the floor. See, goes over the top of the screen, falls over the big fella, landing on him. Ricky Rubio, we've spoken a lot about him throughout the tournament. Only 17 years of age, turns 18 a little bit later on, but he has the potential to be a Manu Ginobili type. Little shorter, but very good hands. And the thing that's going to make the difference between Rubio being a superstar, which he already is, and a super duper star, is his shooting.
Some points for Banic. 42-28, Spain's way. Well, Rubio had an extraordinary European final as a junior where he shot something like 51 points, 24 rebounds and 10 assists, which is just ridiculous when you read that.
That'll definitely get the attention.
It will.
Oh,
threw up the big alley-oop pass this time. Chance for Kush. Gasol.
And what an example that sets. The big fella making the extra effort to run out and block the three-point shot. And that type of hustle is very infectious. And Paul Gasol knows the urgency of this game.
Ricky Rubio and Mumbru go to the bench for Spain. Jimenez, the captain, comes back in with Calderon. Planinic, clock winding down, and again the mistake. Spain forcing errors here. Calderon has been used quite sparingly in this game and throughout the tournament. Garbiosa. Gasol. Foul called on Perkichin, the captain.
Perkichin grossly outsized. Got a lot of strength. Just the referee deeming he never got across quick enough. A line ball, that one. It could have gone either way. And Gasol perhaps getting the benefit of the doubt.
Leading the way for Spain with 16 points, Paul Gasol, the star Laker, 215 centimetres. Croatia into Perkichin. Out to Thomas, open. That falls well short. Not his best effort. Croatia struggling here. 28 points on the board. We're coming up to the midway point of the third quarter. Garbiosa with 3. (47-28). Planinic trying to find a way through. Foul called on Fernandez.
That's Fernandez' third personal foul.
Rodriguez will replace him. And Rosic has come on for Croatia. Planinic. Needed Rosic. Kus. Wild pass. Planinic drags it in. Double team Jimenez and Paul Gasol. Now Gasol retreats to the basket. Foul called on Jimenez.
Planinic putting the ball on the floor. The thing I don't like about that play, the end result's going to be okay because Planinic goes to the line to shoot 2, but again it was very stagnant. Just 1 or 2 passes, bring the ball out, Planinic to the top of the key, going, just penetrating and trying to make something happen off the dribble. They really were excelling early on in the tournament with their pass and cutting and the pick and roll and finding the open man. Admittedly, the opposition tonight is very, very good.
Referee helping out to get the ball. Bit unsportsmanlike. Now Rodriguez. Spain 47, Croatia 29. Out to Garbiosa, scored the 3 moments ago. Good work Rosic, but it ends up with Jimenez. No score, he comes in and gets the rebound. Counter on, tries to go all the way. Good defense Croatia. Jimenez with a shot. And they've done well for a change, the Croatians. No score to Spain. Perkicin away to Kus. Perkicin getting in the way. Good screen. Allows Kus to shoot the 3. 47-32. Margin 15 to the Spaniards.
Croatia pretty much at that point where they're going to have to start throwing caution to the wind, change the look of this game, find a way to get some ascendancy.
Jimenez.
He just missed 3 in a row. Jimenez with 3 wide open 3-point looks, unable to knock him down.
Foul's called on Banic. He had his, that's his 3rd personal foul. Marc Gasol comes in and checks in for his brother. A Gasol for a Gasol. Double change, Lončar. Surprised with Lonchar's game, the minutes he's getting for Croatia, and for lack of involvement, really has not scored a point in this game.
Well, he's only played 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes, and he's averaging almost 19 a game. So,
well, he leads the rebounds for their tournament.
And when you consider the problems that Croatia are having on the glass, surprising we haven't seen a little bit more of him.
Nisevic doesn't score. Marc Gasol bursting his way through, got rid of 3 Croatians on that play. Rodriguez, Marc Gasol.
Unsportsmanlike foul. Might have been on that man we're talking about, Lončar. Just a whack. Marc Gasol, I don't know whether he's got what sort of hops he's got, but he came down preparing as if he was going to flush it with 2 hands. And Lončar didn't want to get dunked on, didn't want to get posterized. So he just sacrifices it and didn't do it subtly enough. Didn't disguise it well enough. So it's an unsportsman foul being ruled.
2 points in the game so far for Marc Gasol. He shot one of the most important baskets ever for Spain against China. In the dying moments, tied it away. It was a falling away sort of jump shot. Ended up on his backside, and it went in traffic as well. It had everything going against it, and somehow it dropped, and they went into overtime and beat China. And how significant now was that basket?
Well, you're dead right, and it was probably more significant for China that went in, because that was their chance. But the way it worked out, China got there anyway with a very good win over Germany, and no one would have thought that Germany would be on their way home and not make it through the quarterfinals. And there's Calder on. at 6'2", 6'3", showing he's got some inside post-up moves as well.
Takes it out to 18 for the Spaniards. Inside 3 minutes, third quarter. Planinic is open but can't score. Good rebound, Marc Gasol. Calderon. Toronto Raptors star started on the bench in this game. Marc Gasol somehow gave the ball off. It was called for travel.
Called that a travel, but I don't think it was a travel. The referee underneath on the baseline called it. He was a little blindside. Maybe he didn't see that Gasol had actually put the ball on the floor, but kicked it out. Croatia need to find a way to get some cheaper baskets, and I know that they're really concerned about controlling the tempo against this powerful Spain outfit, but I'd like to see him push the ball up the floor, get some transition baskets, or try and get some transition baskets.
Trail by 18, Croatia.
That's a better play.
Lončar, finally.
And that's what I was talking about. Their work on the pick and roll and that extra pass. And that's what they were excelling at early on in the tournament. Maybe it's our man Lončar that's going to come in and set the way.
He was left alone then under the basket. Now another chance, Croatia. Can they add to their score? They can. Back-to-back baskets. Spanish coach has seen enough. He calls the timeout with the margin back to 14. Now Spain 50, Croatia 36.
And these last two plays, we see the turnover. Calderon penetrating, and one of the things I was talking about is picking up those easier transition passes. And the play prior to that, when we saw the pick and roll and the pass to the roll-off player getting the easy uncontested layup, need to see more of that. Let's try and listen for our Croatian friends to the coach.
Jasmin Repeja. Coach since 2006 of the Croatians.
It's a very young Croatian team. They've got a bright future ahead of them.
Spanish coach. Ito Garcia Veneces coaches Badalona in the Spanish league. As we see some of the work of Pau Gasol, Calderon. A couple of NBA stars in this Spanish lineup. Interesting, Reneses appointed this year at the start of 2008 after they won the world title.
It's some big shit. He's on a hiding to nothing. Let's be faced. They won the world championship, and then they just came second by a breath in the European Championship, and
Pepe Hernandez was on his way.
Apparently the Spanish administration not happy with some of the sponsorship arrangements that the former coach has entered into, and that may have brought down his demise.
Rubio put down.
Double foul
double
down
foul,
low.
yep.
Lončar and Marc Gasol banging. Jeez. You know, when you see two guys like that, maybe it's better just to take the whiz out of your mouth and say, hey, boys, settle it down, rather than pinging a foul on both of them.
Well, it's even Stevens. Marc Gasol wins the battle this time, out to Jimenez.
He hasn't lost confidence. He was 0 for 3, and he's taken one, a deep 3, and shot nothing but air. Jimenez now 0 for 6 from the three-point line. Comes a point in time where you've got to put the cue on the rack and say enough's enough.
Yeah, give someone else a go. Thomas Lončar wasn't ready, but Croatia keep the ball. Trying to narrow this 14-point gap. Ukic. Didn't score, but does draw the foul. Foul called on Rubio. And Jimenez is going to the bench. Mumbrú back on for Spain. So Ukic at the line. 5 points in the game so far.
Coach of the Spanish team, Garcia and Aces. I'm trying to find out why there's such a great belief in this young fellow, Ricky Rubio. And he's a tremendous talent. But when you see guys like Calderon and Navarro's only played for 3 minutes, and Ricky Rubio's playing ahead of him. It may be coincidental, but it just so happens that the coach of the team is also the coach of Ricky Rubio and the man who discovered him in the club system.
Marc Gasol wants to turn and shoot, and does. Reyes, huge rebound. Croatia's ball.
A window of opportunity opening up now for Croatia.
Chance to score here, bring the margin back to 10. Very manageable heading into the final quarter at Wukasong Stadium. Ukic, three-point attempt. Oh, almost the tip in Lonchar. So disappointing build-up there for the Croatians.
5-second differential between the game clock and the shot clock.
Rodriguez to Reyes. Mumbrú. He misses. Foul called on Rosic. Italian referee pouncing all over that one. So a chance gone begging for the Croatians. It's very important. The margin's at 12. They could have perhaps taken it down to single figures heading into the final quarter.
That's right. It's a big play, big call. Pack of players going up. Pick a foul out of that. Rubio doesn't make them pay with the first.
He's only scored 2 points, Rubio.
Plenty of time for Croatia. 8.4 seconds left to get a good shot off.
Quickly in now to Thomas. Uses Rosic. Back out to Thomas. Drives it hard all the way. No score. And beaten by the buzzer. No score for the Croatians at three-quarter time. Spain 51, Croatia 38. Spain finished 9th in Sydney in 2000. They finished 7th in Athens 4 years ago. They're attempting to get through to the last four, to the medal rounds here in 08. As Croatia get the scoring underway in the final quarter to narrow the gap to 10. Croatia a chance in this game.
Most definitely. And they need to do a better job than that on the defensive end. Fernandez just waltzes in to the paint. And gets an easy two.
Thomas on his way in now. Uses Nisevic. First of the knockout quarterfinals. Very tight affair. Spain have led right throughout, but Croatia will not go away. The lead scorers in the game. Paul Gasol, 16 for Spain, 8 to Calderon. And it's 9 to Banic of Croatia. Ukic has 7, as does Thomas.
And Fernandez taking matters into his own hands. That Croatian coach doesn't like the look of that. Timeout on the floor.
Spain 55, Croatia 41. Well, the margin down to 10, but very, very quickly it's back to 14 again.
Just like that, and it was a turnover. And probably a concerning sign for Spain is Ricky. Who is it? It's Fernandez. He looks like he's in a bit of strife on the sideline, which would be a real blow. Seeing some pain in the back there.
There's Fernandez driving hard to the basket.
There we see him again going to the rack, and he just takes the hit and uses the contact for the step back. And Rudy Fernandez, he's a sensation. He's averaging almost 12 points a game. Extremely athletic. Sam McKinnon type hops. seen some spectacular alley-oop plays, and there he is. He's 3 or 4 from the field. Hasn't had a lot of opportunities offensively, but seems like he's trying to get himself going in the last quarter.
And he gets into the play now with a foot violation. Quite accidental, but it was there. He's second in their scoring in this tournament behind the big fella Paul Gasol, so very handy for the Spaniards. Fernandez here in Beijing. 23-year-old. With the Portland Trailblazers. Thomas. Working hard, Jukic. Held up by Calderon. Nisevic. Thomas. Mentioned Spain trying to get through to the medal rounds. And good defense again, Spain.
Great defense by Spain, and they get away with it again. Poor shot. And there's the foul by Thomas as he just swipes at the ball.
Now for Croatia, it's been a 12-year absence for them as far as the Olympics are concerned. They did not qualify for Sydney or Athens. And their biggest result ever back in '92, silver medal to the United States of America. So it would be a huge result for them to get through to the last 4 here and play off for medals. Not out of it. Croatia trail by 14. Paul Gasol.
Too good. Too tall. Too good, but also too tall. For Perkichin down low. Unlucky not get called for the foul early on, but lucky that in the other sense that it wasn't called, because Gasol goes in and makes the easy 2 and has a chance for the 3.
Jukic push back on. Paul Gasol at the line.
Both these teams have featured heavily in Australian basketball history as well, because back in 1988 in this quarter-final game, Australia beat Spain to advance to the Final Four for the first time in Australian basketball history.
This is Kush. Just back onto the court. Offensive foul.
Offensive foul, and Fernandez having a little bit to say.
Thomas the aggressor, the 21-year-old Croatian, who actually plays in Spain. Plays for Fuenlabrada, so a lot of these Spaniards will know him. Calderon. Uses Mumbrú. Calderon ran into Kush, fair and square, says the umpire. Now Mumbrú. That was a great move for the big number 14. 59-41 Spain.
He blinded him with his fumbleness. Fumbled it, faked him out with the fumble and staggered his way for the easy 2.
Wasn't the smoothest I've ever seen, but it got there. Perkichin, Kush. Need to start dropping some three-pointers, the Croatians, to make an impression on this deficit. Spain by 18. Early in this final quarter. Paul Gasol. Fouled by Croatian captain Perkichin. Double change. Thomas and Nisevic go off. Rosic and Banic back on for Croatia. Calderon has had to play second fiddle to Ricky Rubio in this game. Fernandez gets it back from Gasol. Foul called on Fernandez.
What? I've no idea what that would be for. Maybe after the shot, grabbing.
Navarro comes in. Has hardly seen any court time for Spain. A player who has spent time in the NBA with Memphis, heading back to Barcelona, and it shows you how strong the Spanish side is. He's barely been out there at all.
There's Planinic, but he was no chump for Memphis either. In his rookie season, he connected with the second most highest three-point makes of any rookie ever. So he can shoot it from the land of plenty.
Reyes takes the margin out to 20 now. Getting tougher for Croatia in this quarter-final. This is Rosic. Quickly in Perkacin. No score. Coming away Calderon. Over the top, Gasol had too much on it. Forced him under the basket. Calderon rebuilds. Calderon will go all the way and shoot with a jump shot. No mistake, 63-41.
Really getting out of hand now for Croatia.
Perkacin uses Kush, held up by Calderon. Defensively, Calderon's been spectacular in this game. Planinic, and stolen. And Croatia's ball.
Full credit to the Spanish defense, but the intensity of the cuts and the action away from the ball just doesn't seem to have the purpose as it has in some of the early games for Croatia. Almost like they're just running the X's and O's motion for motion's sake without necessarily having any great purpose to it, but there's a good one.
Right on the shot clock buzzer. Great work, Rosic. Margin 20. Inside 5 minutes in the game. Navarro to Calderon. Nearly lost it. Into Reyes. Foul on number 5, Kush. 3 fouls for him. And the bonus situation. So Reyes goes to the line for Spain. Reyes 6 points in the game so far. It bobbles, it has a look, but then it drops. Every point making it harder for Croatia. Rosic with the margin at 21. Kush. Foul called on Reyes.
There's real trouble on the sideline. Calderon's gone down, and he's no contact or anything. He's pulled an adductor or a groin, and he is in real trouble. The winner of this game will go on to the semi-final to play the winner of Lithuania and China.
He is in serious strife, and the way he's walking, you have to ask the question, is that tournament over? They have 2 days between matches, which means if they are to continue, it's 4 days away from a gold medal match.
It really just comes down to how badly he's tweaked it. You're right, it doesn't look good at the moment.
Now Lopez comes in, number 11, has the ball now. I haven't seen him, but another player with NBA experience. So much talent in this Spanish lineup. Ball now with Gasol. Gets it into Reyes somehow. Draws the foul. Saw Reyes at the line just moments ago, and he's in there again.
You mentioned Lopez. He's actually the only player on the Spanish team that's not averaging double-figure minutes played, only averaging 6.5, a little over 6.5 minutes a game. 28 years of age. 6 foot, feisty little point guard that can shoot it, which is not uncommon for a Spaniard. Seems like they all can shoot it.
Kush now. Time running out for Croatia, and the steal. Lopez, an influence straight away. Time at Utah was cut short because of knee injuries. Raul Gasol, up to 20 points now.
Signs of Croatia waving the white flag and their Beijing campaign coming to an end. Take a look at the assists. Spain have 8, Croatia have 5.
Planinic got a hand to it, allows Kush to win the ball. Comes back to him. Banic. Screen provided by Lonchar, and in the end Rosic, a clear path through. Margin is 22 points in Spain's favour. Spain have taken the sting right out of this game. They've led from the start, haven't allowed free scoring from the Croatians, and they've made them pay at the offensive end. At the same time, Reyes scores, up to 11 points for him. And a real blowout now. 70 plays 46.
They've been brutally efficient, the Spanish team. Up now, over 50% from the field. Banic, a wide open one.
Banic to 12. Out to Navarro. Very limited time for him. Lonchar, the man in the way. In fact, it's Rosic, so it wasn't Lonchar at all. Rosic with the push from behind, and he is out of the game. 5 personal fouls for Rosic, and that is the end of his Olympic campaign. Ukic comes on to take his place. Long, hard road for the Croatians. They had to come through Olympic qualifying to get here. Good performance to make the quarterfinals.
You're dead right, and that shouldn't be understated too, because a couple of weeks before this tournament started, Croatia playing for their lives in that pre-Olympic qualifying tournament. 3 teams come through that tournament. Croatia, and they really had to work hard. Long campaign, and unfortunately hasn't finished the way they would like, but when all's said and done, they haven't made Olympic competition for quite some time, so happy to be a part of it. And with this very young Croatian team, the future does look very bright.
Yep, 12-year absence from the Olympics. They beat Australia here in their first game on day 1, so they started extremely well. Planinic into Lonchar, and beaten by the shot clock. No score, says the ref, but a foul called on Marc Gasol. Second foul for the big fella. Inside 2 minutes remain in this first quarter-final. Planinic, Kush, Lonchar's lost it. A little clumsy, but they end up with it. Ukic, who's been signed by the Raptors, hasn't played for them as yet. Three-pointer Croatia.
Planinic from mind has been the standout player for Croatia. Shoots the ball tremendously well.
Clever ball work from Lopez. Marc Gasol rebound, and the shot clock is reset for Spain. Rodriguez gives it to Lopez. Navarro's lost it. Good hassling from Ukic, can go all the way, but gives to Planinic. 5 points in a row for the number 10. Final minute of this game. Great performance from the Spaniards. Disappointment for them in the European Championships last year to finish second. They are the reigning world champions, And here in Beijing, they will go through to the last 4 and the chance to play for medals.
And what most people would consider on the good side of the draw, not having to face the USA unless the USA are good enough to beat Australia, and they're on the other side of the draw.
Right. Getting a hand in Reyes, just prolonging the agony. It's Spain by 18. No score. Foul called on 12. Rodriguez. No bonus situation as yet, so ball from the sideline.
Coming up next for Spain will be the winner of the Lithuania-China quarter-final game. You'd have to say that Lithuania would go into that game as overwhelming favourites, but we've seen enough from China to say that they can trouble them.
Lonchar with a bit of work late in this game. He's been so good throughout the tournament. Quiet day for him today. Banic. So Croatia finishing with a flourish here. They trailed by 21 moments ago. They've managed to bridge the gap slightly. Banic has 14 points now and a chance for a bonus. He shot 16 against Australia on day 1. That's his best outing in the event. And a nice way to finish for Banic. They'll wind the clock down here now. Only 7 seconds remain. Spain are through to the last 4. Chance to play for medals here in Beijing. They finish with a turnover. It is curtains for Croatia here in the Olympic competition. Very convincing win by the Spaniards. A real confidence booster as they head through to the semi-finals. They've beaten Croatia 72-59.
It is, and real workmanlike performance by Spain. They came in and really set the tempo on the defensive end, harassing, preventing Croatia to get into their structure, to get into the flow of the game. And I really like the look of this Spanish team. They're 12 deep. They can cause some damage when you think of the semi-finals and looking ahead.
Lead scorer in the game, Payol Gasol with 20, and it was 15 for Banic for Croatia. The final score here in this first quarter-final, Spain 72, Croatia 59.